Still to come, collector Peter Arnell takes us back in history to the first car ever manufactured. Stay with us. Coming up, Peter Arnell is here to talk about his newest invention, an environmentally friendly car. We'll return in a moment.
Well, behind the goggles and the hat and the driving suit is my good friend Peter Arnell. Peter Arnell heads up Arnell, one of the world's most creative brand invention companies. And he's also an avid collector. You've seen some of his fantastic collections right here on this show. And we're sitting high atop one of his most prized collectibles, the very first car ever made. Really a replica of the very first car ever made, right?
About 100 years ago, before this was made, Mr. Benz decided to finally make an automobile. Before that, engines were stuffed inside of carriages and horse-drawn this and a lot of stuff out of the garages. And Mercedes-Benz on the 100th anniversary decided, in celebration of that, to actually put the line back together and an exacting
like a replica
engineer replica of the car with the exact
so
material.
It looks like one of my horse-drawn carriages, though.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Just stepping up on it is like that, and it's wood and steel and very precision.
Very precision
engineering.
And this is how you steer back and forth like this. It's pretty amazing. And of course, it's 3 wheels because back then they didn't know how to actually do 4 wheels. They
hadn't thought of 4 wheels
They
yet?
hadn't thought of how to actually put the steering column to guide them in parallel in the front of the car.
So I understand there's a story about Mr. Benz's wife.
Well, she was amazing. She's the one who made this whole thing called automobile category actually famous. He invented it, but was not very good at marketing. And she decided one day, after he had an accident, the first recorded accident, you can see him in this vehicle. He came back in, and of course, steering is a little complicated here, and he crashed into the wall. Fixed it that night in his garage, and she decided the following day to take the 2 kids and take off for a 60-mile trip from Mayhem, where they were in Germany, with clothespins and stopping at pharmacies and blacksmiths and everything else. She got to her destination, and the whole of Germany flipped out. And it became very, very extremely popular. It became a whole event. In fact, to this day, they celebrate that journey once a year. And of course,
so how do you start this? Can we start it?
Yeah. Let me show you. We have to get off.
We have to get off.
Use
and then
the
you have
step
to get back
over
on
there,
again?
and then you have to get back on again.
Oh my! I wanted to drive around the studio.
Oh yeah. Let me show you how to start it. It's a whole new ignition key.
Well, we have a video of Peter actually driving this Benz. So let's take a look. Oh, so Peter, tell us what you're doing here. Where are you?
Well, I'm out in Bedford, New York, driving at 5 miles an hour. I have shorts on, it's the summer, but basically the gear is up and running. I usually run it for about 2 hours at a time, and you have to do it on a flat, steady area because, as you can see, it doesn't work on incline very well. It's a very, very fragile, very delicate
It is fantastic.
Piece.
So is this engine basically what a car engine is today?
Fundamentally, nothing's really changed. I mean, there's and the most amazing thing, of course, is you know, he knew to have a battery in there, right?
So is that in the box?
That's in the box, the battery.
Okay.
And then, of course, the gear shaft is the same fundamentally.
What's the fuel?
It's regular, you know, go to the pump kind of fuel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what's this?
Well, here's how you start it up. So if you come over here for a second and grab it here. Now I use these gloves, but you grab it here. If you just watch it carefully, you spin this thing and you hope and you pray that it starts to go, but you can hear it. But this is the ignition key, and you turn that gear, it's called a flywheel, and hopefully it catches on and spark plug. As you know, this was the spark plug.
So we couldn't start it because of fire regulations, right?
We couldn't start it because this is a studio, and we have to be very careful, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, it's the most beautiful thing, and it's absolutely a stunning piece of machinery.
So what did this car cost 100 years ago?
Well, it's about $2,000 US dollars.
Way back then?
Way back then, yes. So
wow, I bought my first Volkswagen in 1961 for $900.
Well, it was very expensive. Now, remember, when this vehicle was up and running, right, just to put in perspective, Grover Cleveland in office, right? The inauguration of the Statue of Liberty, right? And, believe it or not, this week coming up, the first Civil Rights Act. Good timing, right? With
so
President
perfect.
Obama about to step into office, but it was happening, to just put in perspective, and the first automobile, which changed, transformed life throughout the world.
Oh, and then, so Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile. What was it called? What was it called in Germany?
A Motorwagen, right? Pretty simple. No, Henry Ford, just to put in perspective, dear Henry Ford was approximately, I mean, Henry was kind of sleeping at the wheel. Henry Ford and Ford Motor Company happened 22 years later, right? So this, Henry kind of jumped onto Mr. Benz's designs and engineering. Although the world, Henry did a much better job, obviously, promoting the.
And he started the whole assembly line.
He was the first to do a lot of things, including, give people Sunday off and create the 6-day work week, and put a clock on the line and the assembly line, all that good stuff.
Well, Peter's also very involved in the future of the automobile, and you won't believe what you're going to see when we come back. An amazing little environmentally friendly vehicle that he designed and developed, and that you could be driving around this fall. So stay with us. Great. We've all been concerned when the price of gas escalated. Price of gas escalated. But in truth, no matter what we pay, gas is still harmful to an environment and creates a real pollution problem. So Peter Arnell and his team of highly experienced automotive engineers designed and developed a car whose components and power source will leave no carbon footprint, and that's real 100%.
It's 100%. It's fascinating.
Unveiled.
Here it's going to be unveiled.
Is this the first time anybody's seen this? Oh, boy. So this is just a model of what you're building.
Right. What you do in the automotive game is, of course, you start to build models at full scale in order to see it, and the production qualities are built into the modeling, the top hat, what it's called, and then, of course, the interior is another model, and the battery is another model.
So it's called the Peapod, P-E-A-P-O-D, after iPod.
Peapod, good symbol for ecology, right?
Peapod,
and green,
and it's also Peter's initials, P-E-A.
Peter Eric Arnell.
That's right.
Yeah, but nobody knows that except for now, which everyone knows.
Well, now I'm telling you what the P comes from, and it's a very cute little car. Now this is called a neighborhood electric vehicle,
right? There are two classifications. There's the city electric vehicle, which is like the regular car. It goes any speed you want, and the neighborhood electric vehicle, which goes up to 25 miles an hour.
So this is, I'm going to take this down to Katona for groceries.
That's right. You take it down to Katona, take the kids to the school.
Right, because that's the speed limit on the streets anyway.
That's right.
And
legal in 41 states.
Oh, it is?
Just so you know, and you can't take it on highways, obviously, but the CEV that we're coming out with next year, you can. And the most incredible thing here is that the Peapod company, the organization, is going to have a full variety of products, all based on eco-friendly products. So we built this as well environmentally friendly. So it's 95% out of recyclable materials. Amazing. And it's recycled, and it's just like a really smart
what are some of the materials?
Well, we've used bamboo as an example, a lot of grains, et cetera, et cetera. If you look over here on the board, you can get a sense of the textures, the colors, and of course, here's your Bedford gray, Martha. You get the first one in Bedford.
I want that. Now this is great. Look at this is the
Martha,
car
sit down.
seat.
Sit down.
Yeah,
sit down.
I was just testing this.
In the past, it was really thick and it took up a lot of space and so forth. And so I thought to myself, why don't we just do it like an office chair? Pretty straightforward stuff. And it's got lumbar, and it moves with you as you're driving.
Oh, it's so comfortable. It gets you right in your back, just where you want the seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not fixed, so it's moving with you. It's adjustable, right?
Yeah,
up, down, left, right. So it's pretty simple. So we took a lot of weight and cost out of here.
So being a woman, of course, is there room for my dogs and children?
There's room. There's children. There are 4 seats in this one. Groceries. There's a trunk that comes out like a cabinet.
And color. All these are the colors.
These are all the colors, and the inside, as you see, is fabulous. It's got the dashboard is an iPod.
See,
we did a very clever thing, so you're right. And basically, all the data, all the information comes up on your iPod. So your GPS system, how much energy you have left in your batteries, right? Remember, the batteries get charged, right? So quick charge is 30 minutes, quick charge at 220, right? For a 40-mile run, and 6 hours normal charge overnight at 110 volt.
Okay.
Yeah, currency.
So you can go quite a distance.
Yeah, 2 cents to the mile. Oh. I mean, you got to be nuts not to have one of these, and they're very inexpensive. We tried to come in at 50% of the cost of hybrids, at approximately 12,000.
What's this going to retail for?
$12,500.
12,000. Who wants one of these at 12,500? I do.
The interesting thing is we tried to create a new language for this kind of car. We call this category, like, you know, the SUVs, etc. We call this the Moby category, right? It's kind of like the eco-iconic language created to say these cars are now the electric vehicles, and it's going to be the first in the marketplace.
And so you've been thinking about this for how long?
Well, in total development, about 6 months. So from what you see here, it took us about 4.5 months through engineering.
But you've been thinking about you're just such a car aficionado.
Oh, car and all this stuff for years and years. We've been talking about this for last decade, right? I mean, about how to make this thing move. And in the spirit of the first vehicle, the Benz, that we saw, the Motorwagen, it started with a battery. So it's good to go back to a battery.
Those are the batteries?
And these are them. There are 7 of them. It's
what does lead-acid gel battery mean?
Well, there are different types of batteries. They both work. There's nickel cadmium and lead acid. One is a longer term and basically an extended life battery. And what's great about these batteries, they weigh 72 pounds apiece, and they go in the center of the vehicle. So they weigh the vehicle down for great center of gravity, right? And there are 7 of them. And they last forever. And they're maintenance free, right? There's no oil in this car. There's no, it's just all that stuff. You open it up, there's no engine, right? It's.
I can't wait for this to have a handle on, and I can open the door and I can drive out to the elevator and right down to the street.
I promise everyone that we will have it back here as soon as it's in town. About 5 weeks from now, we expect to have the first real one that we're driving.
Well, for more information on the Peapod, visit our website at marthastewart.com. Peter, thank you. As usual, fascinating. Thanks. We'll be right back.
Subscribe to Body and Soul magazine during the month of January and receive our special offer, 10 issues for $10. Go to wholeliving.com and subscribe today.
Well, Peter has yet another invention that he's going to just drive off in, and that's called a Ro-Ro.
It's a Ro-Ro. It's a people-powered exercise vehicle.
Go on, show us how it works.
Made for the kids while you drive your Peapod.
Yeah, this is, again, environmentally friendly and good exercise. Tomorrow, cooking school continues with Sarah Carey. We're going to show you a healthy and delicious way to cook chicken and fish. See you tomorrow.